Be able to see we're live. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the FMA Dumpster Fire podcast. Today, I am here with Datu. You know what? There are two Datus that I know and refer to as Datu, and in my head, I always have to select which one. So whenever I say Datu, and then there's a delay, it's because I want to say Tim Hartman. Welcome, Tim Hartman.
It's good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
No problem. So how did this podcast come to be?
Today?
Yeah.
Well, I think we started by me watching you doing Hubud this morning.
Yeah.
I talk about piracy. Had a couple quick questions, and I had a microphone issue, which you were talking about. Mm-hmm. We talked about intros and outro videos, which I'm going to probably tap into you later on that. And we started saying, hey, anytime you want, I could talk. And the next thing you know, we started talking. Oh, we talked about the seminar that you attended this weekend and gave me a huge plug, and people started post-seminar ordering the past seminar, and I also got people ordering to participate in the next seminar or just get the video. And we talked about customer service in the martial art industry, and loyalty is a two-way street, and bang, here we are.
Yeah. I was like, hey, you got time? He's like, I got time. Let's do a podcast right now. And that's totally what we're doing right now.
Boom.
Let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about the content of your podcast. Well, your live feed. You're talking about piracy in FMA. Okay. I think that's a really that's a very intriguing topic for me because I've been guilty. I've been guilty for real of just stealing content, and that's what it is. I'm not going to mince my words. I've stolen content before. I've had content stolen from me many times. But talk us through that. First of all, what inspired you?
What inspired? Well, and once again, when I was first on the internet, because it doesn't come with an instruction manual, I made the same mistakes others have made. So I'm poking around on the internet, and lo and behold, I see someone using my graphics. And I'm not talking my graphic is inspired by them. I'm talking they physically took my graphic that I paid for and put it up on their website. And most times when I reach out to people, it's handled in a nice professional manner. And I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast today, but when people refuse, I have a guy that will go after them. And I don't want to sue, but they have had websites shut down for some time because they're breaking copyright laws. And they didn't have permission to use my stuff.
Isn't that funny that when people choose to protect their intellectual property by taking legal action, sometimes those people are vilified. You know, like how dare you protect your intellectual property, right?
Well, you know, and most of the times, I mean, for me, I don't care. Just work with me. And the case I said that probably happened the best was the Inosanto Academy. One of their instructors was starting a youth FMA program, and they searched the net, and there's I just found something today, a website that actually puts up images free of charge, but they don't have permission to do that. At least they didn't have mine. And they went to the site, they took it down. It says it's a free use site. I reached out to the Inosanto Academy. We had a nice conversation. They handled it professionally. They took it down. They apologized. I'm like, what more can you ask for? You know?
That's the ideal. It doesn't always go that way. And you know what? Look, I run several YouTube channels. I'm an admin at several Facebook groups. And I know sometimes the nature of social media these days makes people feel like it's okay to rip content, you know, and it really is not. For me, you know, the content of your podcast talked about Maelstrom and Loki, right? About how he actually hired professional photographers to get these images. These are some of the most popular FMA images out there. And I used one of those images, and I believe it was Tuhon Phillips' fist with a stick, a really close-up image. I believe I cropped it, and I used it as a banner image on a Facebook page called Filipino Martial Arts Source. In that, I gave credit and I linked it to the original source, to the original website. But even then, after watching your podcast, I'm like, that's not enough. It's not enough for me to assume consent, even though I credited it in that way. but that's really the nature of social media sharing. And it's easier to do the semi right thing than it is to go through the entire process of tracking down the original artist and so on and so forth, because by the time it gets to your search, it may have been redistributed so many times, right?
Oh my goodness. Well, and so that karambit photo that we talked about, so that one, which when I do my live broadcast like this, we're not dealing with a script, we're doing this live, and so I made there was a group that used to do websites, and they were very good at the software to attract new leads for martial arts school owners. And there's a little thing you signed in there that anything that they did illegal, you took the hit for. And it was that big landing page, and everyone that did Filipino martial arts, they all had the same images. And of course, Loki's logo was in there. The karambits were in there. And, and I talked to my web guy, and he's like, yeah, some of these companies do that. They'll just sit there, they'll harvest material anywhere, and they put all the blame on the owner of the site. But I go, but you didn't design, they designed it. And I go, you're just signing an agreement that they could rip people off and blame you for it, so you don't take it in the butt, or they don't take it in the butt.
Yeah. I mean,
Which is a shame.
It's a shame. I create a ton of content, a ton of video content, and I've found entire YouTube channels dedicated to ripping, not just my content, but a lot of content from the firearms industry. And I've calculated a loss of thousands of dollars just from this kind of crap, man. That sucks. And the thing is, I brand my stuff well. And I think the excuse that they like to use is, well, I'm giving you exposure. Therefore, it must be okay, right? That's not the case, man. That's totally not the case.
Well, so at least they're giving you exposure as opposed to taking my logos and make it their own school logo after they've been in my building. But hey, what do I know?
Man, how bad is it? How bad is this?
It's terrible. I mean, and the thing here is, like, I'm a guest instructor in the Kempo community a lot. And when I'm in South America, oh my God, the Kempo guys down there, it is terrible. And just martial artists, it's not just the FMA industry, it's everybody. And the martial arts that I see, like the Europeans, because they're not worried about the lawsuits, because no one's going to travel over there to file papers and all this other stuff. So predominantly, it's just we're protected here in the U.S. And even said, okay, I can sue you for $40,000-$50,000, but guess what? Most people don't have it.
Yeah. Oh man, there was even one instance where, and I know these people personally, and I was involved very, very briefly, but there was a Filipino martial arts poster for a seminar, and believe it or not, they actually photoshopped.
Stop it! That was my seminar. Shut up! Shut up, you idiot! I didn't do it, but come on, you were there. I was there, you idiot.
No, I totally forgot.
You bastard! You suck.
It was totally.
Yeah, but you know what?
I swear to. That was an honest.
Good.
That was an honest mistake, and you had nothing to do with that. But that was crazy.
For the record, Paulo is a dick.
I love you, Tim. No, but it's that became a thing. Hey, look, we got somebody watching from Edmonton. What's up? What's up?
That's good,
dude. That's kind of embarrassing for me right now, to be honest.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You know what though? But we know the person, and and listen, you don't know until you've been educated.
That's right.
So basically, what someone did is turned a white guy into a Filipino. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was. Oh yeah, that's right. And look, we all make mistakes, and even like I said, the podcast that you released allowed me to sort of like realize my own mistake, and so we take corrective actions, man, and we move forward from those. And
moments. And with the person that was involved with, everything was taken care of.
Yeah,
it wasn't meant to be done in a malicious way. That being said, though, it doesn't protect us from a legal position if people chose to do things. So,
Right.
you know, that was funny. That was hilarious.
Dude, that's awesome.
I think oh yeah, you know, I scolded you and the other Filipinos to talk to the Filipino who did it and make sure they understand, because I'm puti and I don't speak Tagalog or Visaya.
Oh, that's so awesome, bro. So yeah, here's the image that I used without express written consent. I want to give a shout out right now. Actually, I want to give a shout out to, how do you pronounce it? Is that Maelstrom?
Yeah,
Maelstrom?
it's Loki Jorgensen.
Yeah,
and it's
Loki.
Maelstrom at Ancient Fire, and actually Malcolm Loki was the one that created the FMA database that was out there forever and a day. And for the people in our industry to take as much liberty with his images, not you, but I will bust your chops now that you busted mine.
Yeah, please. I know. Look at us, two guilty parties telling everyone else to do it right.
Yeah.
No,
do
but
as I say.
Exactly, not as I do. But these are amazing images. So shout out to
oh my God, yeah.
Tuhan Loki. And there's a reason they get stolen a lot, because these are great.
Yeah,
these are great. Doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't. I mean,
beautiful.
Hopefully he's thinking that it's like, well, at least they got good taste, but why is it always my shit?
And you know what? I think this is it for FMA. There really aren't that many that are done in that way, that don't necessarily present like an image, but rather an idea. And there are no images that exist in FM, as far as I'm concerned, that are as widely distributed and as widely stolen as this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a shame. And like I said before, there's plenty of ways out there to get stuff that we can get our own artwork done. We can, I mean, though, I will say that, I mean, his stuff is phenomenal, but that's no excuse. No excuse.
All right. So my apologies to Tuhan Loki for stealing that image and using it as a banner image on a Facebook page that I run. I'll be changing that as soon as possible. And thank you, Datu, Tim, for highlighting that crap. I don't really get angry when people steal my stuff, but that doesn't mean that others shouldn't get angry when I steal their stuff. You know, it's still not the right friggin' thing to do. All right, can we move on?
Yeah, anytime you're ready.
All right, let's talk about this student-teacher relationship in Filipino martial arts. You brought something up. By the way, you have a brick and mortar Filipino Martial Arts Academy.
I have a 5,000 square foot facility. It used to be a banquet hall. I started in my backyard, went to a karate school. The guy gave me the key, went into my church, went to a powerhouse gym, then went into a 600 square foot office space, went to a 1,300 one next to it, went into the plaza that I'm in now, got 3,200, and then now I'm at a 5,000 square foot facility. All because, not that I wanted to do this as a living, because I wanted the keys and wanted not have to work around anybody else's schedule.
And how long has your business been running for?
So I'm in this plaza. This October is our 20th anniversary in this plaza.
Damn. And do you offer you must offer other things other than Filipino martial arts, but is Filipino martial arts at the core of your business?
I offer Filipino martial arts, and I offer our kickboxing program, which is based off our Panantukan.
So I think that I've told you this before, man. That deserves recognition. To have a Filipino martial arts brick and mortar business running for 20 years deserves recognition. I do not know anyone else, to be honest with you, in North America who has that. You know, we're not including obviously Dan Inosanto, you know, because the offerings there are broad. I think the Minnesota Kali Academy, Rick Fay's organization, maybe one.
Apollo Ladra. I don't know what he's got going. Apollo.
Yeah, but that's recent. I believe it's more recent. But shout out to him as well. Tuhan Apollo Ladra, I Kali. That's based out in the Baltimore, Maryland area. But what the heck? We're talking like 4.
Well, actually, so here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I am a full-time school. It does say karate on my building because back when I put a sign up, karate was the word that everyone related to, and you'll even find Taekwondo schools that have karate signs. The fitness program is still based off of kickboxing, and that's only about 15 people 4 times a year. So it is FMA first. I'm going to throw this out. I don't consider the Inasano Academy an FMA school. It's Jeet Kune Do, and FMA is one of the many things that contribute to their martial mix. So as a full-time school, as full-time profession, Apollo's the only one as of late that's along with that. There are part-time schools like Nilo Barone in Sacramento runs a Doce Paras Academy. He's got a full-time job, and the school runs himself. I'm assuming Don Cuesta out in New Jersey, daytime job, martial arts at night. I would say there's probably about 15, 20 part-time schools where it's established where it's FMA only, but the owner has a day job. But gotcha. I've been doing this.
That's a huge difference, though, Tim.
Yeah.
That's
I know. And when I say this, people always jump on my shit. What are you saying? They didn't. So I don't know. I'm not saying anything. You're not listening to what I'm saying. There's the spirit of what I say and what I say. There's 2 different things. But
absolutely,
that's another topic.
Yeah. So you have this business. You have this undeniably FMA business, and I'm thinking about that karate sign that you have up front. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with that.
Well, there's less letters in Taekwondo than martial arts or Filipino martial arts. Yeah. So I'd have to use smaller font.
I'm really, really okay with that. I'm cool with that. Even outside of the business spectrum, even just as a thing that may work to keep people coming in through the doors.
Well, here's another thing. Remy Precis, who was one of the pioneers that helped save Filipino martial arts in the islands, he started billing it as Filipino Karate. So the first school I started in was called the Filipino Karate Academy.
Yeah, and these are I would deem these like survival tactics, man. This is and these days there are some conversations that pop up every now and then in my orbit talking about this and that, and Ramy adopted too much of karate and now they kind of want to bring it back. Here's the thing, at the core of that conversation is people want to dictate what other people do, and that's dumb. That's stupid. Well, what do you think? Should modern Ernest, for example, shed the gi today?
Okay, so first of all, when you talk things about Remy, he died 20 years ago. So anything you have a problem with him doing, you can't ask the motivation of him. You have to talk to students like me, and I'm the only student that I know of that delved into Modern Ernest as a standalone program, not as a secondary program, that brought it to a full-time school. But what's wrong with the gi? I'll tell you what. So I was at the CNE, which for the people who don't know what the CNE is, was what
it's the Canadian National Exhibition. It's like our national fair. You know how there's like regional fairs. This is like Canada's.
Yeah, that's like our town gathering over it. No, actually, in Toronto, that's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah. So the late Rudy Casico, who was one of the early pioneers of FMA in Toronto, was doing a demo up there. So I went up there. And he does this demo, and they had the Century Splice karate gis, which I've worn every now and then with my students. Black on one side, red on the other. You got everybody doing it, and there's some people sleeveless, but most of them are wearing the 3/4. And they did their Sinwalis together. They did their drills. He also taught karate, so they would come and do some karate katas. Man, did they look amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then the Jeet Kune Do group showed up. And you had like 15 people. No one had matching shirts. No one had matching shorts. No one had matching shoes. They looked like just a bunch of guys in the gym. And, here's my thought. You don't need the uniform as in the context that we say uniform and you say karate. But how hard is it for people to wear matching tops? Look at Bobby Tabuada. Bobby Tablata, I mean, they would walk in. The Filipinos didn't have uniforms at all. You would take your shirt off, hang it on a nail, work out, put the shirt back on, go to wherever you were doing. So anybody using uniforms and saying they exist, they're full of shit. That being said, we know the team mentality. You know, you go to a Raptors game, everyone's wearing the jerseys. Everyone wants to, you know, the Boy Scouts, which is now the Scouts or whatever they're calling themselves, the Girl Scouts, the police, firefighters, military, you name it. Everyone likes being part of that team. And then you have the fanboys and girls who wear the team's jerseys and stuff. I want to go back to uniforms. Now, uniform apparel, not necessarily putting a karate gi on if that's not what you want to wear.
No, I get it. Totally. It could just be black t-shirts. That could be your uniform,
well,
right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, what is like I said, what does Bobby wear? They all wear the athletic type shirts. Hey, can I share something here?
I don't think so.
Let me see what I can do.
Try. Oh, you're gonna show me up here. Oh, you can. Just have to allow it. May I go ahead and share this?
Yes, you may.
Look at that.
Okay, so I just happen to have this up, and if you look, you'll see. Okay. I love Bobby.
Alex Armaza, Joe Apostol, two of my friends are there.
But if you look right here, you're gonna see 1, 2, 3 in the front row, all right here, all wearing that look. 4 over here with Doc. Terrence is probably wearing one. You can't see.
Joe's wearing one.
Yeah. Okay, but let me make this point. This photo looks like a bunch of guys in the gym, and unless you know what you're talking about, it doesn't do anything for our industry. It looks like shit. But
wait, what?
If the rest of the people wore these Canadian shirts,
that would look dope.
Bang, bang.
But here's what people are gonna say. You know, first of all, they might take offense that you say it looks like shit. But I know what you mean by that. It doesn't. Having a uniform look lends itself to good things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
all those things that you mentioned. But yeah, I totally get it. I have one of those shirts. Those shirts are dope. Yeah. And whenever I go to a GM Bobby seminar or gathering, there's a bunch of them that wear that. So are you saying what's wrong with getting everybody to wear that?
Well, okay, so would you mandate it? You weren't at the birthday party, were you? Down in Charlotte, the 70th birthday camp?
I was there for one of them, the World Camp, yeah.
Well, the birthday one where I was teaching and
no.
Okay, so he had like 150 people there, and every club had its gi, or the thing, and it looked amazing. And you have this group and that group, and they all had a basic theme, and they all had his logo here with different embellishments. And the thing is, like that photo right there, if you didn't know what the hell you were, okay. We're talking, this part of this is martial business. So let's think about this. Okay. If we're attracting people to what we do, we have to have them understand what we're doing. If they're all wearing Taekwondo gis, it may not represent what they're doing, but at least someone who's from the outside looking in, it's martial arts.
Right.
And part of this is advertising. It's just like, people who, I'm going to do an Arnis demo at this community event. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to do dog brother fighting. Really? And you expect people going to ask you back?
Right.
I wonder what that 2-year-old's going to think when you pile drive somebody on the concrete there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a choice, but I totally get what you're saying, and I subscribe to it. I'm trying to figure this out, because on the one hand, what you're not saying is y'all should do this. You're just saying this is probably a good idea, and I'm going to do it for myself, right? I like that.
I grew up with uniforms, so that's the thing. We had the 3/4 stripe, which is actually the funny thing. The Filipino uniform everyone uses is actually a sport karate gi from America. It's not a Filipino thing. Right. Remy started wearing it, and then the Filipinos started copying it, and I got people saying, "Well, no, I got proof." Yeah, you're full of crap. You don't know what you're talking about.
It's not a Filipino thing, and I think for the most part, that's at the core of people's argument about it, is that the uniform isn't a Filipino thing. But you're seeing it from from a uniforms perspective, philosophically, fundamentally, whatever it is, uniforms work. And
Yeah,
it's good business practice, especially when you are. Look, a lot of people like to speak about wanting to promote the Filipino martial arts, and then they kind of get offended when people give the advice of, well, here's how you can do it, and to include uniforms. People want to promote FMA, but they're a little bit hesitant, I think, to do it in ways that are proven effective from a marketing perspective. Why?
yep. Yeah, well, because I wouldn't be surprised if some people just don't have the means. They don't know where to get T-shirts, and they don't know how to do things, and they don't have artists. But here we go. Here, I'm going to share another one.
Oh gosh.
No. It's not bad. You'll like it.
No, I look forward to it. Meanwhile, learn Filipino with Papa says the Filipino uniform is sando and chinelas.
Okay.
But look, if we all wore the same sandos and chinelas, that's perfectly acceptable to me. That is a uniform.
Yeah.
That's fine. So what do you got here?
This is our camp. So we've changed some things in the past. So basically, our logo is the Praces Arnis logo with the cross compilongs. In this photo, what we did is only black belts got to wear the red ones, but now we're all wearing the same thing for better brand. But I mean, you look down here, that looks tight, And we've been at events before where we go rolling in, and next thing you know, everyone's like, our group starts. You show up. We went to the Defense Lab. The DL conference in New York, we all have the Buffalo. Exactly. There's a lot. It actually works really well in Hubud. And when we get together, I'm going to show you something. So
I actually did. Yeah, I did some earlier today, but I just cover. That's all I want to do.
So I do I got a bull, and I've got the three the three letters for our Balintwalk aspect of things, and my teachers and one of my mentors, and we go to an event, and like, they're all wearing green, and there's like 6 of us wearing this, like, dang. And like, we look like a team. But then again, you walk into the conference and everyone's wearing the same shirt. There's that feeling, when you're part of the team.
I totally get it, Tim. But there are still people there's a lot of people in the Filipino martial arts community that don't even want to make the student-teacher relationship in FMA resemble any sort of a financial transaction, And
it doesn't have to be financial, but okay. I made a comment. I know it started this whole thing. I made a comment, and the comment was that respect is a two-way street. Here's the problem with our industry. Everyone thinks, they're showing no loyalty. Well, loyalty goes both ways. If you go to a restaurant, even if this is a non-for-profit, free, but let's say you're going to a restaurant,
okay,
and they start selling you, their meals start getting worse and worse, and the customer service has gone down. I mean, what have they done to keep you there? If you're going to the grocery store, the prices are going up, but produce quality is going down, and you can get it better elsewhere. What are they doing? No one complains when you go to different restaurants or different grocery stores, but and this is where I think the MMA guys got it right. They go to whatever coaches for whatever field they want to do. And no one says anything about loyalty. But in the martial art world, oh my God, this person left me. What about this loyalty? Well, what kind of service were you giving them? You know what? Even if it's free, there's usually some kind of exchange. And if you don't make it valuable to them, why are they going to come back and continue to train? Even if it is, wait for it, free. Which there needs to be some kind of exchange. I would, even if I did this in my house, I'd make sure that if I brought kids over, you're going to rake the lawn or something, the old school type stuff, because when it is free, people don't value it.
Amen. I totally. So here's what I think. I think there are a group of Filipino martial arts instructors and students out there who want to hold on to the old ways while operating in the modern day. And this is where all of this confusion comes from, is that they don't know how to navigate. They have one foot in and one foot out. And, it's like, loyalty, respect, honor the elders. but also pay on time, be on time. These are your expectations. And so the Filipino martial arts community, I feel, is having a very, very difficult time amalgamating these old world sensitivities with what actually needs to happen for Filipino martial arts to thrive period, because it can't thrive if it doesn't exist, right? It can't do that. And I think people feel a sense of pride when, I mean, this is probably a defense mechanism, but when a business is failing, when they've only got 3 to 5 students, instead of admitting that there was a shortcoming or a deficiency in my ability to promote and spread this art, they're like, well, my group's high standard because we've only got 5 students. I think that stuff needs to, far be it for me to demand what people ought to do with FMA. But it seems to me that if our mandate is for FMA to be in every street corner like karate and taekwondo was, we need to do a lot of things different.
So I agree with a lot of what you said, but I'm going to call BS on something.
Go for it.
I think the problem is why some of these people have this mindset. Here's the thing.
Okay.
We don't go to school for this. I back into this. I went to martial arts because, I thought, it'd be cool to do martial arts one day. And then I got invited to go to a school. I went to it. It'd be cool to be a black belt someday. Dude, all right. And then it'd be cool to win a tournament someday. Kept going. Man, Professor Praces does seminars. I wish I could do one. Did one. And it just kept going and going and going. But no one ever taught me how to do this stuff. What I finally did was I joined a business association, multiple ones, and I got the education, because you've got people who are grand masters in martial arts, but are white belts in business.
Amen. What are you calling BS on exactly? Because I agree with you.
Oh, about the thing about people have this mindset.
Oh yeah, that is bullshit.
No, they have no education in this, and that's the problem. I mean,
yeah, because they're trying, bro. Whenever I hear from people who pretend or fake being proud of this small group, first of all, I think there are genuinely some people who prefer this way, who don't want to turn it into a business, who don't want to promote it in this way. I think that's perfectly fine. But the people who say that, who also have Instagram accounts, YouTube channels, and websites, then it becomes very clear to me that, you're full of shit. This is bullshit. You want to spread the art. You want to do this better. You just, like you said, you were never educated. You never took the initiative to actually learn. And now this is a defense mechanism for you.
I wish Papa was a student of mine back when I was in my 20s.
But look, what do you think when you read something like this? I pay for my FMA lessons with beer because thoughts come into my head and I feel certain things.
He's paying. I'm gonna take it as a surface level comment, because some people are so damn uptight and they go, oh well, no. Look at the spirit of what's going on.
Right.
I'm gonna take him at his word, and what I'm gonna say is most likely that the person may not ask for money and he feels he's got to do something. I've done stuff for people, and they've always took good care of me. Bobby Tablado came and did my birthday camp. It wasn't going to charge me. I had to make sure I had here's that book you wanted. And there's an envelope in there for you. There's stuff I do, he is a good person about being progressive. There's a lot
Bobby
of things
Tablado?
we spent a lot of time together, and his guys like me when I spend time with him, because he didn't realize he had a smartphone. And then I won a bet, which would have taken all of his money from the seminar tour when we did the Legends tour, but I let him keep it. And then I taught him how to use the smartphone, which was like, whoa. And then I got him on Square. I got him doing digital downloads. Wow. I helped him out with a bunch of apparel stuff, and he is quick to learn now. But here's a perfect example, though. He's different than the rest. He doesn't know how to do this stuff. But what makes him different than a lot of other people, he's not afraid to ask questions. Hey, he was really good with friends with Remy. He loved Remy. He's like, Tim, what would Remy do? Well, Remy would have done this, that, and the other thing. Remy would have done here, would have done there. Bobby is so slick and quick to pick up on different trends. But, the thing here is, does anyone around him talk about this stuff? Well, I know I do. Like we did a 2-week tour, and every day he was like, well, what do you do there? Da, 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 da. And he's very inquisitive, and he's quick to embrace things as long as he can understand. You can talk to him in a way that he can understand. But like I knew, have you ever heard of Ray Galan?
Yeah, he's a name that I've heard of. I know nothing about him.
He's a Babacan guy. He was out of Jersey. I think he's in Brisbane, Australia at the moment. He did the Warrior Arts of the Philippines book. I was one of the contributors for that. And he had a club in Lodi, New Jersey, did a tournament. I used to go and compete in there with my guys. And he joined NAPMA, which was the association at the time, And he goes, yeah, I joined. It did nothing for me. Well, how much of that stuff did you read? What do you mean? He thought joining a business association was going to bring people in. It's like, no, they give you monthly packets. You have to watch the videos. You have to do this, and then you have to implement, And, the thing here, joining something doesn't make it better. Like I have people, well, you have an association, Tim. Why should I join it? Well, I'll give you a bunch of reasons, but at the end of the day, if you don't do your due diligence, it's not going to do it. We're not doing it for you. You still got to do your work. And I think the problem is people are afraid to ask. They don't know how to ask. They don't want to look weak.
Right.
Yeah.
So Tim, at your school, how do your Filipino martial arts students pay you? Do they say, "Hey Tim, here you go," and they hand you an envelope or some cash? Is that how they pay you, or do you have you have a system, right? You have a system.
I have recurring electronic billing. Boom, done. There's a whole bunch of ways. I've actually helped a bunch of school owners in our industry. Even Square, for those who have Squares, you can do reoccurring invoices. But I did the investment in my software. I use Spark. There's a whole bunch of other apps or software you can use out there. It's all virtual, and it automatically bills their credit cards. I have them sign up for 6 or 12-month memberships, which they can renew or leave when they're done with that. It bills them whether in class or not, which is on them because I have to pay my rent whether we use the plot or not.
So is your system then watered down because of all of these business things that you have in place?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I hate that term because we're talking about
I'm just asking, right?
I know. No. But when you started that one about we're talking about teaching kids,
right?
And everyone was talking about watering things down. I understand where there's some people that are do McDojo mindset, but the thing here is the more students you have at any given time, it's harder to keep the quality control up. So I have to put realistic expectations based on how many students I'm teaching, how often they can come in, and right now, the COVID restrictions that we have, I've got a lot of restrictions. I did a lot of class. Actually, I kept my school open virtually during the shutdown. And I started doing private lessons first, and then I used Google Meet. And once I got the hang of that, we started doing group lessons. And my first couple tests when we were able to go back up to open back up were not the level that I wanted them. But you know what? They hung in there. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, I just recently reproportioned my belt curriculum. So we use a belting system. It goes all the way up to 10th degree black belt. And some systems don't do that. Like when I do my Balint walk, you were either the instructor, which was Ted Buett, or the student, which was me and a whole bunch of other people. There was no levels or anything, and that's all there was to it, But the thing here is we use a belting system, and what I have, let's say we have written curriculum up to 5th degree black belt. Well, looking at that, I looked at my belts were a little front heavy, so I reproportioned it. Okay, so for everyone to say this, I made it easier to get a black belt, but it's still the same quantity of difficulty to become a 5th degree black belt. So I reproportioned that entire journey because some belts were a little higher, some belts were a little lower, and I just have a better proportion. But, Does that mean I watered down my black belt? I don't think so. I don't think I watered down. You know, like when we teach kids, it's not watering down that you're teaching kids. You teach them what's age appropriate. You teach them the things they can handle. And when they become eligible for adult classes, you fill in the blanks. You know, when I'm doing my virtual classes, which you attended recently,
awesome
I
class.
didn't
Highly
water.
recommended.
Thank you. The check's in the mail. You know, the thing here is that I have a realistic expectation for a hybrid seminar. Now, I won't say what's hybrid. I had a physical seminar going on while doing the virtual attendees, which gave me that good balance of the two. So I gave plenty of time for people to pull reps, and I could judge based on the people who were there physically with me. And let's say, Paulo, you didn't have your son with you at the time and you wanted to watch how the other people are doing it, let alone just me, because I'm not a good indicator of what's going on. I'm the head instructor. You want to see how everybody in the room's doing it.
Of course.
You know, am I the norm? Am I above, below, whatever? So, you know, when I'm doing things, I have realistic expectations. And some people put these lofty expectations. I go, I got disabled vets that can never do the test that I did to become a black belt. They sacrifice their health for my safety. And I'm supposed to tell them they can't become a black belt because in that job that they became disabled. And no, I'm sorry. You know, you should have stayed home and not gone in the military and get hurt so you can pass today's test.
So the criteria then that you have for ranking is fluid and to a degree, when necessary, personal to the individual. So
I have a written curriculum for every belt level. And it's broken down, and I use generic terms. Like if we're saying punching, I will use mano mano. When I do locks and controls, I use dumag. And I'm very upfront with all this. Now, I am certified in Kuntao. I am very certified in Sikran. And I have a Sikran section, kicking section, but I'm using it in the generic sense, although my students have these potentials of getting certified. When we're doing weapon material, it's our Sandata week. You know, so I'm using the term so they can say, oh, it's weapon week. I'm going to grab my weapons this week. Or where I'm looking at the checkoff lists, what material is this? Oh, it's Sandata's weapons. Okay, good. Now, you know, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I lost my train of thought.
This veteran who's not going to be able to meet the standardized requirements, you'll make adjustments for that.
Yeah. I mean, he'll have to know all the material.
Right.
But I have realistic expectations based on the person standing in front of me. Right. And some of them could be physical and some could be mental handicaps. I've had people who've been on the spectrum who still come in and train and do a great job. I mean, I'm looking at a big thing, and like someone asked me recently what my legacy is. And my legacy is that I've got hundreds of success stories of kids coming through here that had no friends, had no confidence, and parents. Years later, I bump into him. Man, you did so much for my son. And where he is today is because of the lessons he learned. And I don't want to sound like a fortune cookie, because that's not what I am. I eat them, but that's not what I am. But the thing here is, you know, I don't care on how many good students I have. You know, I really love doing martial arts, and why can't I share that passion with everyone? And I'm going to have my serious students. I'm going to have my social students. I'm going to have people who are doing it for fun and fitness, socialization, focus, and some for self-defense. And I honestly believe when it comes to the combatives of what we do, that everyone that comes and trains with me, I've increased their chance of survival in a real street encounter, not some fantasy BS. Oh, I'm going to stick duel someone like this. You know, listen, I love doing all that stuff. But at the end of the day, most of the stuff we do in Filipino martial arts is not for real life situations, but it's phenomenal for skill development, position recognition, study of movement, which can all help you in a real life situation.
Absolutely. I think you're just honest with it. You're just honest with it. Yeah. And that's what I really and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, you know, because there is a lot of dishonesty in how the Filipino martial arts is presented. And so absolutely 100%. So somebody brand new walks in through your door. They happen to be bound to a wheelchair. Can they ever be a black belt in your system?
Sure. Why not?
Well, they're not going to be able to do footwork.
Well, so what? Have you ever seen Carlita Banchak?
I have.
Enough said. for those who don't know what we're talking about, here's a gentleman who was walking and had a degenerative something, which I don't know what it is. And he's my friend, period. I don't need to know. But at the end of the day, listen, anybody can become a black belt if they're doing their best. And they're putting, here's what I tell the kids all the time. Because I teach as young as 3.5 years old. Because if I don't, they'll do Taekwondo and we'll never get them.
Right.
But it's more of a preschool to get them to the point where they can do some stuff in my class. And a lot of the kids that have become adult black belts, they've been with me 8, 10, 12 years because I offered that young. Oh yeah. Oh, but
that's awesome.
But if you don't allow them, I want this to be accessible for everybody. But at the end of the day, my thing is this: if you can show that you understand what's going on, you're trying your best, and I don't care if it's everybody else's worst. If you're putting effort into it, you'll be able to do it. I had a guy who could ace his tests every single time, and he would goof off in class to the point where his classmates said, "We stop it. We're trying to practice." And I walked up to him the one day, and his father was one of my black belts. And I said, "Listen, Mike, unless you start getting serious in class, you will never test for me again." He stopped testing. He stopped training. Because at the end of the day, I didn't fire him. I gave him an opportunity. But the distraction was not worth the money that was coming through the door. Right. Because it was disrupting the rest of the community. Right. And that's it. I mean, I can't lose a student. Yes, you can. Fire them. Show your people that you're willing to worry about the community. You got to cut a couple branches off to save the tree. That's probably why. That's probably why I'm in trouble when as controversial I'm in the modern East world, because there's a bunch of people I would have just said, "Go, see ya, bye," and then later they got arrested for being pedophiles. Go figure. Go figure.
Dude, let me ask you some questions.
Okay, I got 10 minutes, and then I have classes and teaching responsibility. Okay.
I have about 10 minutes too. I have 47 minutes into this. Okay. And so try to keep it brief, Tim. What's been one of the greatest lessons that you've personally learned in this Filipino martial arts journey? Sticking to business. Okay, let's focus it a little bit.
Well, it has nothing to do with business. I mean, it has nothing to do with Filipino. Well, what it tells me is that no martial system understands martial business, and you need to seek experience or knowledge elsewhere. And if you work for a living, there's a good chance, as I joined these martial business associations, everything they taught me was already being taught in other industries. And it's all about one thing. Here we go. Customer service.
Customer service. Wow. Wow. So you are a customer service agent.
In essence.
Why do you think, you know a little bit about Filipino culture, why do you think that may be offensive to some? To think that a Datu of all ranks considers himself a customer service agent?
It goes back to education. Let's put it, okay. Oh, this is going to be rough.
Just say it.
The Philippines have good education. They don't have good education delivery systems in the Philippines. So they don't have a model to work from. The problem is, I mean, Bobby Taboada only had like 4 years of school. I don't even think Remy had more than that, but he got an honorary professorship in the school systems that he was teaching out of. I don't think he graduated high school. I think he got recruited for who he was and what he was doing, became a mover and shaker. I mean, Remy was a goodwill ambassador for the Philippines with diplomatic papers. Dude, they sent him around the world to teach the martial culture. And he was a very street savvy kid. And he learned how to hustle. Learning how to hustle is not taught in schools. And when the education system, the delivery system in the Philippines is substandard.
Yeah, no, I hope people understand exactly what you're trying to say. And we may have to do another podcast just to explain that. But Tim, what can somebody, a Filipino martial arts, Tuhan, GM, Datu from another system that you may not know, and if they're struggling through this stuff, right? What's one thing they can do that will improve the standard of their attempt at monetization?
Call me.
Okay.
I've saved some Filipino schools, but here we go. First of all, a uniform standard, which doesn't have to be crazy. It could just be a school T-shirt. You can still let them wear whatever the heck they want, but have a uniform standard. Starter kit, being invested in the class. If all you do, if everything is supplied for you, especially with COVID, we don't want to supply anything. For hygiene alone, people should have all their own gear. A written curriculum that is used as a guideline, not a hard line.
I love that. You know who's got a good one is Pikiti Tursha International, PTI.
Well, I'd say me, but that's
too well, I know you do, but I'm trying to spread the love.
PTI does a great job.
PTI, PTTA, it's there. People know exactly what you need to do to be able to rank up.
And you don't have to follow. It just uses. You know what? It's a journey. It's a journey. The last thing. Well, hey, people go, well, I need to work on this. Well, if you know you need to work on this, you got your head on straight. We'll get there.
Yeah. So branding and huge, right? And the uniform is part of that. How you present yourself is part of that. How you conduct yourself in online forums is a big part of that.
Stop it.
You are judged by every interaction that you make. And your students.
If you look at my Facebook page or on the internet, there is 3 possible photos that show up with me having alcohol around me. One, I was in Germany in '99 cheering somebody. Another was my 35th birthday. I have a big bottle of JD. And then I was teaching in England, and we were at a pub afterwards, and I had a cider in front of me. Someone said, "Oh, you having a beer afterwards?" Nope. It's cider. Yes, it's alcoholic. But the thing here is I try to keep – listen, I drink. Not that much, but I do. And I try to keep that off the net. There was Filipino luminaries where there used to be pictures on their website with them in nudie bars.
No, that can't be right.
Yeah.
For real?
For real. I'll tell you.
Tim, are you being inauthentic by being so in control of how your public image is portrayed online? Are you being inauthentic because you drink, but there are no pictures or very few pictures of you drinking? Is that inauthenticity? No,
because I don't drink a lot. Here's the thing. Wrong person. Here's the thing. My life is private. Okay.
I get that. Hey, man, that's a good answer. And I know your brain is somewhere else. What are you clicking away there, man? You're in a podcast, bro.
I was sending you something.
Oh, okay. But listen, go ahead.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, okay, listen, I got my brand. Oh, wrong. It's backwards. I got my school logo, Horizon Martial Arts. This is the newer one. Still has the Lapu Lapu. There's my vest. There's the pullover. It's on my uniforms. You want to have your brand. And if you can't afford to do the bulk you do, go to like Zazzle or something and have something done. But the thing here is, it's like this one and done type T-shirt company. You don't make that much money off it, but you can order your logo on. It's an American thing. It's not a Canadian thing, whatever. But
so racist.
You're right. I'm nationalist. I'm not there's
no.
But at the end of the day, the thing here is like when I was in high school, I didn't even like holding hands with my girlfriend. Because that's personal. I've always looked at my life being personal. And we know people have lost job interviews because of what's on their Facebook. Listen, who I am as an instructor is not who I am as a person. And I need to separate the two brands. And the thing here is people can see both things. And at the end of the day, what I do in my personal life, no one needs to know. No one needs to know how many physical encounters I've been. No one needs to know what kind of firearms I've had access to and done shooting and stuff like that. No one needs to know what I'm doing. And I can go through this whole list, right. But if you look, you can find subtle little hints. I've been doing tactical stuff since like 2007. I've been teaching at the Virginia Police Academy, and I got people who will just come out of nowhere. Oh, look, I do tactical. I teach a police officer. No, you have a police officer student, but I put the little breadcrumbs in, and I'm an adjunct instructor with Sheepdog Combatives, which is a law enforcement group that teaches at the Northern Virginia Police Academy. They're defensive DT instructor, recertified courses. I've done some stuff with some TAC teams, but I'm a civilian consultant. I have no idea the verbiage that they need to do this, their use of force. My job is I show what to do once we go hands-on. Everyone else does the talking. But at the same token, I don't consider myself a tactical guy. I'm a consultant on a field of impact and edge weapons. That's my thing. But, but if you look, you'll see you can see over time, I put the little breadcrumbs out so people can see that I've been doing things, but there's certain things I just don't want on the net. People don't need to know where I live. People don't need to know what I like to do. I mean, right. I'm a gamer. I'm a big Halo fan. So for those who've seen me, I like playing Halo. Okay. It's easy because the kids here can play it too. I'm an old comic book geek. If you can find photos of me doing theater and musicals in high school with big hair, because it was the 80s. Everyone had big hair in the 80s. But my personal life is personal, and I don't think I'm a sellout because I don't want it out there. I don't want, hey, right. You know what? If you put too much of that shit out there, people can figure exactly where you are and when you're not at home.
True. I think the broad stroke here is just to pay attention, and you're leaving crumbs of who you are and footprints of who you are, and you just have to pay attention what you leave behind and how you present yourself. But hey, listen, time's up. We're donezo. Thank you very much for joining, man.
Anytime. I'm
plug some stuff, brother. So you have your academy, your dojo, your gym in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, Horizon Martial Arts. We are in West Seneca, suburb of Buffalo. We are 10 to 15 minutes away from the Canadian border. We're 7 hours from New York City, so it's nowhere near New York. If anyone's interested, just World Modern Arnis, you'll find us.
Is that the website, or you can just type that?
It's WMArnis.com.
WMArnis.
Yeah, worldmodernarnis.com. Actually, I can just do this. Boom, 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 and I will just go here.
Yeah.
Copy, and I will. Oh, I don't know where I can do that anymore.
While Tim is trying to figure this out, guys, I want to let you know that there's two ways you can receive some of the advice and tips that Datu Tim Hartman has given today. You can choose to ignore it. You can be angry at it. You can be contrarian all you want, but I think it's a good idea to look into some of the things that he's mentioned today. Maybe swallow your pride a little bit. Maybe you've said some things in the past that you feel trapped by. When COVID-19 hit, I knew a lot of people who used to trash talk Zoom lessons and online videos who all of a sudden had to transition. And it's okay. It's okay to have been wrong in the past. It's okay to move forward. It's okay to start now, right? You can be a 72-year-old dude who have no experience. Go reach out to your students. Don't be afraid to ask for help and advice, and then find your own personal cocktail that suits, who you are, what your system is, and what you represent. But at the end of the day, you have to make improvements as to how you promote this Filipino martial art thing, if that is your mandate, right? And Tim, you shout out to you, man. You're opinionated. You can be loud sometimes. But I love that, man. You are, Filipino martial arts is as much yours as it is mine. The color of our skin doesn't define. It's more yours than mine. You've spent so much time in the Filipino
That's a topic I want to address that one with you in the future.
Let's do that. Do that.
But listen, DatuHartman.com. If anyone's interested, we just reactivated the website today. I'm in the process of updating. I got to go teach a class now. So everyone, hey, Paulo, thanks for having me on. I feel that I've passed the torch on, because for the longest time I was the FMA ambassador with Martial Talk and FMA Talk and all that other stuff.
You still are, brother.
But I think you have become the next one to inherit that thing. I will done you. You are now the Filipino ambassador, but it is Arnis because it is the national sport of the Philippines. So, all right.
Thank you, brother.
See you.
Have a good. All right, guys, that was Datu Tim Hartman. That was really cool what he said. I am going to, for the time being, decline that delegation. I do not want to be that guy. So much of my wanting to promote the Filipino martial arts is for selfish reasons. You know, it's because I love it. It's because I enjoy doing what I do. It's because I meet great friends. It's because I can monetize it and be able to pay my bills. So by no means do I want to speak on behalf of Filipino martial artists at all. That's not part of my intention. But I do have a platform. I do have some knowledge in this stuff, and I guess if I'm gonna accept to a fraction of a degree this idea that I am this guy that gets to promote the Filipino martial arts on behalf of everybody, I'm gonna need to do a little bit of a self-examination to make sure that I'm doing that properly, because I am an emotional person. I do have personal relationships within the Filipino martial arts. And so if my future intention is to be a representative of all of Filipino martial arts, I gotta do some reflection. I gotta make some adjustments. And I'm going to rely on the entire community to make sure that if I'm going to be that guy someday, that y'all keep me honest. All right. I do not, man, I've seen this fail before. I've seen people who get some level of notoriety or influence over a space, and it becomes too much about them. And so I'm telling you right now, this is all about me. But if I'm going to move forward with it, I need to reflect. And I think I should probably, even at this point, explain to you what I mean when I say that this is all about me. You know, I was detached from my culture at the age of 9. I grew up for a good chunk of my life not really having a as deep a connection to the Filipino culture as I would like to. And so when I discovered the Filipino martial arts, it was just an amazing catalyst for me to re-explore my culture, the people in it. And so in that way, it's personal, it's selfish, it's about me. When I fully understand that when I promote somebody or I say good things about someone or something, that's reciprocal. You know, I think people to a degree value my honesty, and sometimes that isn't always going to come across in a way that benefits everybody. Let's be real, right? Like honesty can be a double-edged sword. It's going to serve one party and it's probably going to harm another party. So in that regard, I call on the community to just keep me honest, keep the comments coming. And even that, even when I say, hey, leave me a message, comment, right? Share this message. There's a part of that is really just about me. You know, when you comment, you boost my engagement rating, right? Maybe I get more views and maybe I get more money. So as much as possible, I'm going to be transparent about that. When I say something like, you know, I really recommend, you know, University, I want to let you know that there's a reason for that. That is, it's connected to all the other good things that benefit other people. Because I really think that the presentation style is good, the content is good, the format is good, the community is amazing. But then I also, you know, get a kickback because I produced some of that content. So if I'm going to speak on behalf of like FMA, and if I'm to acquire a level of unsurpassed credibility in the Filipino martial arts, I need a lot of thinking to do, and I'm going to need the help of the entire community to keep me honest about that stuff. And in the meantime, here's what I'll tell you, man, guys and gals, is that when I'm wrong, I'm going to be very public about vocalizing that I'm wrong. I will issue public apologies when I'm wrong. I'll just be as honest as I possibly can, right? That's it. I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can. And you guys are going to help me with that. You guys are going to help keep me honest. So with that, mofos, thank you very much for joining the FMA Dumpster Fire podcast. That was a really interesting conversation with Datu Timothy Hartman. You know, I'm going to talk about him a little bit. I think in martial arts and in Filipino culture, there are some people that may appear at first to be difficult to like, to be difficult to love, to be difficult to appreciate. And heck, that's just the nature of things. Never pass up the opportunity to re-examine past relationships. Don't pass up the opportunity to re-examine yourself, to take corrective action, to admit wrongdoing, to show flaws and deficiencies. As long as you're moving forward and you're being honest, myself as an example of that, I've made a ton of mistakes. I said a lot of dumb shit in the past that I have come to know were just exactly that, dumb shit. I'm public with admitting those things. So just never ever cage yourself. Never put yourself in a position where you're so certain about one topic, one individual, one school, or one system. Never be so rigid that you prevent yourself from progressing. You know, I know. I know sometimes it's hard to admit that you're wrong. I know sometimes it's difficult to apologize, but it's for the benefit of this whole FMA community for us to present this as honestly as possible. And that's it. And thank you guys very much once again. Look, if you've watched this far, man, like if you've seen it this far, if you're hearing my voice right now, whether live or otherwise, please subscribe to the channel. Please. It really does help a lot. Especially if you like other Filipino martial arts channels. YouTube goes, hey, this guy really likes Filipino martial arts and he likes Paulo's channel, so we're gonna feed him more of Paulo's content. So every subscription really counts. Every time you make a comment, it counts. Hey, thank you, Learn Filipino with Papa Jetter. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like or a dislike. You know, I'm cool with that. If you didn't agree with me, I'm cool with that. Leave me a comment. All of these things will stack up for, you know, high engagement rates, and it'll really help me out. And here's the deal: if I become something, if this channel grows, my promise to you is that I'll give you an opportunity to be on my platform. And I will make sure that whatever this channel eventually ends up being called, that when you go on my show, it's going to serve you, your business, your family, and your intentions. That's what I want. And every like, every share, every subscription is one step closer to me being there. And the thing is, it's revocable, right? Keep liking, keep being a subscriber until until you feel I've not earned it, and so you can revoke it. But for now, if you believe in this stock investment of me and what I might be able to do for the Filipino martial arts community, yeah, just hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. This is great advice. I'm looking for a producer. I've been looking for a couple of weeks for a producer because there are actually several podcasts that I'm slated to be the host of, including my own personal one, right? So I need a producer. We'll find one. I'm probably going to need several producers. In fact, what I'm going to need is like a Modern Arnis producer. I'm going to need a Pikiti Tersha producer. I'm going to need a Balintawak producer, just so that I'm making sure that I'm speaking to the right people based on the people who belong to that community. Otherwise, I'm just going to pick my friends. And that's not that's good for now, but I want to do this right, you guys. I really want to do this right. And so, hey, if you're interested in, becoming a producer, there's probably not going to be any money in it right away, but we can build something together. We can talk about that. But in the meantime, if serving your community is enough, being my producer for your system, it's not going to take that much time. It might take an hour out of a week. So yeah, contact me, get a hold of me if you think you can be a good producer for your martial art on my podcast. I have this thing where I say goodbye like 8 times before I actually do. I think I've said goodbye like 3 times already. And I promise you, this time, it's for real. Thank you guys very much. My name is Paulo Rubio. Some people know me as GN. This has been the FMA Dumpster Fire Podcast. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out. Mabuhay. Buga.